So we're gonna go to the news articles that we have for this week. Game Informer is one of them. They have an article that states Bloober Team, the studio that's behind Layers of Fear and The
Oh,
Medium.
really?
They've issued a new press release to media talking about a fresh partnership between them and Konami. The gist of the article says that Bloober CEO talked about working with a famous publisher for a horror game. So rumors and most likely would be a new Silent Hill game. That's what they're saying is that Bloober is going to be working with Konami because we mentioned last week that Konami was going to hire an outsourced company to work on Silent Hill or a horror game for that matter. So it looks like Bloober might be the one. Do you guys hear anything about this yet?
Yeah, I
About
think it's gonna be a game that's in the Silent Hill world, maybe, or
maybe
like
not a sequel?
maybe close. Yeah, because they always have those little weird spin-off type stories in the game, and I think it's probably gonna be part of that. And then later on, if it's popular, if it works, if it does good, then they might connect it. But I think that's
Mhm.
close as it's gonna get. Because if you're gonna do a Silent Hill, you gotta go all out with Konami. You just can't get this. I don't know.
Mhm.
And if you're going to bring the
Mention
franchise
Diva.
back, then yeah, they probably should go all out, not just
Yeah.
hash out another watered down version like the last
Yeah,
two or three.
which I think this is what the, and it might not be watered down. It might be just them trying something different, which it might fail and it might make it blow. It's just a watered down version.
Anybody else?
We can raise our hands now, right?
Me.
Look at
Me.
that.
Yeah, oh,
Raising
we
hands?
actually can.
Now that
We
I can see
actually
you?
can. No, we could.
We're not in a classroom.
Teacher, pick me. No, seriously. The watered down version, I am really terrified of that because the thing is that Bloober Team, yes, they have okay games, but Layers of Fear, it's a walking simulator. It's a walking simulator in the horror genre. The Medium, I'll admit I did not play it, but I saw enough gameplay of it to know that it was the most linear fucking horror kind of game that like has been out as of late. If they're gonna do anything with Silent Hill hasn't been the strongest as of late. PT was the best that they've done in terms of newer stuff, but even then with other things like what is it, Shattered Memories. I almost said Shuttered Memories. Shattered Memories for the fucking Wii. That one was like a almost retelling of the first one, but it wasn't that great. Then Origins was just strange as shit, and Homecoming was kind of dick.
Was it Origins that pretty much changed up the first game?
No,
like the
sorry, yeah,
story-wise?
sorry, no. Shattered Memories. I keep on.
That was the one, right?
That one and Origins are like two different but similar things because one of them is a retcon.
Yeah.
Because instead of
I feel like they were
changed the
trying
whole
to
fucking thing
trying to
for one.
follow more of the story of what how the movie presented the whole Silent Hill stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but the movie wasn't good. That's the thing.
Yeah, I
Not
like
bad.
that. It wasn't that
It
bad.
wasn't that bad. In comparison to a lot
so-
of, like, compared to the Resident Evil and a few of those other ones, it was
Okay,
good.
yes. In comparison to other video game movies, it wasn't the worst, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it wasn't exactly the best because it didn't feel necessarily like what Silent Hill was. Because,
Yeah.
okay, now with
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, somewhat 4, Silent Hill was supposed to be a whole like kind of purgatory kind of thing where everyone's version was different. That's why in 2, fucking James, he goes through his own fucking nightmare entirely, right? But with everything else, it makes it seem like, oh no, Silent Hill is just like this kind of force, and we have this cult, and it's just magic and nothing else. Because for every other game, Silent Hill was like its own kind of sentient place. Whatever you felt guilty of, whatever crimes you committed, whatever atrocities were fucking done, you were in your own literal hell. You don't get any of that from it. Whoa, what the fuck?
What was that? That was interesting.
That was me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Layers of Fear, that one's a very milquetoast kind of like horror walking simulator. I don't see it. I don't see that as something that's really scary. So I don't know how Bloober's gonna go about Silent Hill. Because the medium, it was the medium was a little tense, but Layers of Fear wasn't exactly like.
The thing is that you can see the potential because, like, yeah, you're completely right. Layers of Fear was like a walking simulator, but it was like walking through a haunted house
with a limp. with a
Yeah, and then the medium was tense, but it was more about the story and the acting, like the voice acting and everything was really good. So if you could imagine if they could put both of them together, then it might work out to be a decent Silent Hill game.
Oh no, of course, and this goes, if anything, this goes back to like a really callback episode when we were talking about like VR and shit. If they could take the good of Layers of Fear and take the good of the medium, mixing it with what Silent Hill is supposed to be, you will have three wonderful things that will make a fucking amazing game. Even if it's not like outright terrifying, it'll still fuck with you, and that's what Silent Hill is. But something tells me it's not going to go that way, because from going to Layers of Fear to the medium, it's two very, very big different things.
Yeah.
Gameplay in the medium wasn't the best. Gameplay in Layers of Fear was pretty fucking decent, because if anything, it was like a Amnesia spin-off of sorts.
I feel
Amnesia
like
was
Amnesia
like kind of
was
like,
a bit scarier and more.
no.
I don't know.
Okay, how to put it? Because the thing is that like, even though Frictional Games, they started off with the entirety of the horror walking sim with Penumbra at first. When they did Amnesia, Amnesia was the one that gave them the steam that they needed to kind of push forward and then make that genre. So afterwards, Amnesia became the Dark Souls of walking simulators when it came to horror. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kevin's shaking his head in
Kevin
disagreement.
is like in the
what's
murder
going on
room
there?
right now.
Sorry, I got caught in the red light district. Hey, what's going on?
What do?
Kevin, what's your opinion on this? Guillermo says that Silent Hill was too slow for him.
Yeah.
First one?
First one. I've believe it or not, I've never played Silent Hill, unfortunately. I'm a slut to Resident Evil. Honestly, I'm glad that they have another spin-off Silent Hill game that's coming up. I'm a bit excited for it because I'm starting to get more into scary games. Oh, this echo is killing me.
Not me, the opposite.
Huh?
You don't like scary games?
I'm checking out now. I can't play 'em.
So Renee's a little bitch.
Yeah, the older you get, the more bitch you are. Remember that.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly
this
fine with
true?
horror movies. I mean,
can't
horror
do it
games,
anymore.
horror
I can
movies.
do
I'm
movies.
fine with all that.
Day, but the games,
I love the
I don't
games.
know.
I'm perfectly fine.
I
I'm
can't.
what, like 6
I
months
really
older
can't.
than you?
I can't even play fucking. What was it, Resident Evil 2 remake? I think I got like halfway. Like fuck this game, I'm done. I'm fine. Be scared by dogs.
But
Kevin?
I'm excited. I'm
Alright,
excited
so you're
to
excited?
see what they do, and we'll see. Hopefully, it's not another, what is it, blue ball attempt from
Blue Box?
Kojima.
No, Kojima?
No.
No.
Yeah, another blue ball
We're
attempt.
gonna touch on
here's
that
the
soon.
thing.
We're gonna
Real
touch
quick,
on
but
that
here's the
soon.
thing about Silent Hill that gets me is that the original Silent Hill, maybe 1 and 2, is that it was a different take on gameplay than a lot of those Resident Evil clones.
Because in
Mhm.
Resident
know-
Evil, you had power against the zombies. In Silent Hill,
Yes.
you're a fucking average Joe that can't do shit.
Exactly.
You can literally
So-
not do dick about shit.
Exactly. So that's what made it more interesting. It wasn't just a walking simulator or even a fighting game because you weren't shooting at them. I mean, eventually towards the end, yeah, you got machine gun selector, whatever. But still, for most of the game, you were a slave to whatever it is you're fighting, running away, actually being scared. It was also the accidental mechanics, which is the cloud, the fog,
The fog,
which is
yeah.
because
That was
they
based
couldn't-
off the limitations of the system.
Yeah, because they couldn't render all the graphics going on, so they had the fog, but that still gave it a creepiness. So all these game mechanics is what made it interesting, and I think they need to go back to worrying about the game mechanics more than they're worrying about the storyline. Storyline, I think they can pull off, and they
Yeah.
have been pulling them off decently. Like if it was a movie, you would love it, but because the game itself, Death Stranding, it's the same fucking thing because the game is not there. It fails every time, and I think they need to go back to the
That's
drawing
right.
board. Yeah, I was gonna throw that in there, sorry.
No, but what is it? What the thing with the story though is that, like, okay, Layers of Fear had a really good story, but you just had to read it all. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it's a walking sim. Yes, it was very linear in the sense that every jump scare, every single thing that was supposed to frighten you was scripted, and you had to fall into those actual lines. If there's something that goes look behind you on the fucking wall, and you didn't. You missed it because that's what they wanted you to do. You were supposed to go, oh, look behind you. You turn around and then just like, oh, there's a big doll face in front of you. All right, whatever. You fell for that big fucking deal. But it still happens regardless. Give us a story. Give us the voice acting from the medium, as Danny said was good, and give us just like an actual good atmosphere. Because Layers of Fear had a good atmosphere, just shitty execution if you didn't actually follow what you needed to do. Because if something says look back, I'm not looking back. Like, I'm not falling for that fucking, 80s shit where, look back, lose my girl. No. None of that. So there's a lot that can go well, but there's also a lot that can go wrong. I want to be hopeful. I want to be doubtful. I'm going to say I'm in the middle ground about this. Bloober has potential. If they're working with the actual original team from Silent Hill, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Just give us that fear of not being able to do a single fucking thing at all.
Yeah.
Because that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's what 1 and 2 did really well.
Yeah.
3 did that really good too. But then later on, like, it was just, oh, you can have 1,000,001 sledgehammers in your fucking pant pocket. Like,
Yeah.
Even
Again,
though-
it went away from it. It went to like a more of a survival horror type game
yeah,
where you have weapons and all this bullshit to fight, which is fine, but it's a different game.
yeah.
You know,
'Cause-
and I think they need to go back to the original.
Japanese Silent Hill,
All right.
terrifying.
So let's-
Western Silent Hill, garbage.
Let's